Alright, so before I start, two very important disclaimers. Number one, this is probably not going to be the best video ever. In fact, it's probably going to be one of the hardest that I've ever made. And number two, it's going to be very, very ranty. And so if you aren't into really negative, content, then you are totally free to walk away. Because, as I said in the title, this is basically where I've been, and I'm going to be fully transparent with you as to why content on this channel has been so spotty. And if you guys aren't really into that type of thing and you just want to see fun videos, I guess stick around, but I've got a lot to explain. Second thing is, yes, I am going to nod my head a lot in this video. I typically try to keep it fairly straight for my serious videos, but for this particular video, I need to keep my concentration in check. So the best way for me to do that is actually by stimming, so I deeply apologize if this makes you uncomfortable again. If you've got YouTube Premium, then lock your screen. If you don't have YouTube Premium, then maybe look away from your screen if you still want to listen, but you feel uncomfortable with the head nodding. Anyway, let's get into the direct meat of sort of me. So, first of all, there's a huge question of where have I been? And the answer is very, very long. And to try to explain it is going to take this entire video. So, first of all, let me just start by saying that I am very disappointed with myself and just with the way things have gone recently. I told myself I would do two things. I would make a 6 months since starting YouTube update in May, since I started in December, and that I would monetize my channel as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers. I have done neither of those things. The reason that I haven't done the YouTube update, and I guess this would be the what it's like to be on YouTube update, is because I thought I would have gained a lot more experience than I have. And what I mean by that is I had hoped to have produced a lot more videos than I did. And if you guys remember way back from my uploads in January, you can go and look at the timeline. I once set myself on a very, very strict schedule of 5 days a week. I had 5 ASMRs planned out for those days, and I would go into my, I think I remember, if you guys might remember, I uploaded a new studio tour, which was my great uncle's motorhome, and I would go in there and I would make videos. But even from the very beginning, I couldn't keep up with the full week schedule because things would always come up. And I know that YouTubers typically have videos planned ahead, but I cannot plan videos ahead. I actually did try. It was a lot easier when I went down to 2 videos a week in March, because I did take a hiatus in February because I really needed to figure out what was wrong. I no longer have access to my studio because when it is hot here in El Paso where I live, it is in the hundreds and in the 90s. And in a motorhome where if we try to turn on the air conditioner, we will blow a fuse because it is hooked up to our house's power line. In a motorhome, that isn't an option to be in 90-degree heat. It also really isn't an option to be in the winter because under 50 degrees, no, under 60 degrees, I really didn't want to go out to the Clipper because we had this little space heater that we got, and I love it. In fact, it's still in there right now. And we picked it up, and I wanted it to heat the entire Clipper, and it would, but by the time I would take for it to heat up, I would have been there in an hour. I would have been in there an hour, and I was wasting so much time because I didn't want to go in there and sit in a freaking cold motorhome and record my ASMRs. And even being in the motorhome, it wasn't as soundproof as I thought. In fact, I was editing my audio way more being in the motorhome than I was editing it being in here. And in here, like, is extremely noisy. My room has a lot of background noise to it, and I have things like Volaco and my Shure SM-V5 microphone, and Volaco does this weird thing where it gives me this weird static in the background of my videos, and I don't know how to fix that. And yes, my Shure SM-V5 does compress the audio a lot. It does noise reduce the audio a lot. There's still places where, like, and I get it. Audio does need to be edited. Like, it really should be. But just the fact that it was being edited because of something beyond my control just absolutely irked me. I am a perfectionist, but I cannot be a perfectionist. Let me explain. I am a perfectionist. I like everything to be perfect, whether it's things I do for myself, or things I do for other people, or things other people do for me. But the problem is that when it's something that I do for myself, and I want it to be perfect, but I can't get it to be perfect either because of technical difficulties, or because of background noise, or because of my own, like, stupidity and my own issues because I am visually impaired. It's hard. It's really, really hard for me to sit here and try to be a YouTuber that's going to make a lot of money. And I get that it doesn't really matter right now because I am very, very thankfully still being supported by my grandmother and my family. And that actually brings me to the second reason as to why to the second thing I haven't done. I haven't monetized my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna get into a little bit of social commentary political wise, so I apologize. But the United States government says that if you make any income as a disabled person, they cannot give you the full amount of disability service benefits that you can get. Now, granted, the full amount of disability service benefits is like $790 some odd dollars, and I could not rent an apartment on that. I could not do anything on that. And if I were to monetize my channel, like, even if I were to make like only $100 a month, like, I actually looked it up and I could make 50 some odd dollars a month right now. That extra amount of money a month that would go into my account, the government would track, and they would take that money off of my disability benefits, which is insane. I'm trying to save up right now because in a few years I want to move in with my partner. Either we will rent a little studio apartment in a possible new house that her grandparents are looking at, or we will rent an apartment or a house on our own. We preferably like to have a house, but that of course would mean more money, which I cannot save because of, like, literally in order to save money, we have to use an account under my grandma's name instead of mine, because again, the government will say she's making too much money, let's cut her back on her benefits. And so it's like, okay, at what point do I monetize my YouTube channel? I almost feel like I have to wait until I can actually make a living off of it before I start monetizing it. And it's just like, I don't know what to do with that. And so, like, that's why I haven't monetized it. That's why, and I already give like $10 a month to YouTube. Actually, it's $11. It's $10.71 a month to YouTube Premium because I was one of the lucky few that got it before it became premium and the rate went up. So I give them that every month, and then, like, I'm happy to do that, but it's just like, where do I go from here? And now the other reason that I've been spotty, especially since the middle of May, is one that I haven't really wanted to talk about because I don't know how it's going to come across, but we have our own lives. My grandmother is a stay-at-home wife, but the thing is that we live in a very high-maintenance house that, let's just say, it needs a lot of attention without going into too much detail. And in the middle of May, my father called us. Now, it's important to note here that I don't have the best relationship with my father. He called us and he said, hey, so the person who watches your 3-year-old little brother quit watching him. Can you watch him? It was originally supposed to be for just the weekends, which we could have dealt with, but his stepmother is now back at work full time, And so, like, this week, we've got him for 6 days, which means that we cannot do virtually anything, because not only is he a 3-year-old toddler, but he's also delayed. And so we have to spend a lot of time just keeping our eyes on him, because he has some major behavioral issues, and we're trying desperately to be really patient with him, but it's really hard. And because here's the situation: either he's here at the house and there's background noise here at the house, or we all go out together somewhere. And I don't like for us to not go. I don't like to not go with my family when we go out, because otherwise it's just my grandmother and my brother, and she really needs my help to take care of him. And so I feel like I need to go, and I have like no time to dedicate to YouTube. She actually asked me last week how much time I was dedicating to YouTube, and I lied to her. I said I was doing 2 videos a week, and I'm not. I'm like barely coming out with one video a month, and I see so many people with so many requests in my YouTube comment section, and like I have actually stopped looking at YouTube Studio, and when I do, it's at very brief glances, because I feel like I can't do anything right now. And yes, he goes home anywhere from like 4 to 8, and I could very much use the time in the evenings when the house is quiet, when everyone else is asleep, to record ASMR content. But the problem with that then is I stay up until like 1:30 editing the thing, and then I have to schedule it, and then I have to upload it, and to try to do that every Monday and Wednesday night so that it could go up on Tuesday and Thursday at noon. Like, there's several things that you guys have asked me to react to, and I actually got a program that would have let me do that, except I can't get it to work right. And so it would be a better program than the one I use now. It's actually on my computer, which I am learning to use a lot more. And so I feel like everything is falling apart, and I feel like my safety net of life is just crumbling. I can't get a job, because to get a job anywhere decent would mean because I live in a suburb of El Paso. I think I've already mentioned where I live, but I don't want to say it in this video just because privacy reasons. But I mean, if you know who I am personally, then you know where I live. And I have to like drive. I would have to have someone drive me like 20 minutes here and back to get a decent job anywhere. I had a job working with an insurance company that I thought was going to be great, but the expectations were way higher, and it turned out that I would be a glorified telemarketer rather than actually like helping people. And the guy that I worked with was really, really flaky, and he actually didn't even pay me for the 3 weeks I worked for him, and I had to quit because I could not take the things that he wanted me to do. People having high expectations of me stresses me out more than anything in the world. It absolutely just terrifies me, and I hate it. I hate when people have high expectations of me, because then when I don't fulfill those expectations, I feel like I disappoint people. And I'm a Libra. I'm a people pleaser. I don't like to disappoint anyone, and I feel like I disappoint everyone, and I really don't want a job in the quote-unquote real world. Like, I don't want to go and work at Walmart. I don't want to work... There's a McDonald's that I could walk to my house, but I don't want to work at a McDonald's. I'm visually impaired. Like, I just want to... I want to be able to work from home, but I also don't want to be a telemarketer. This YouTube thing is so perfect, but because of the way my life is, I can't do it, and so I'm stuck in this perpetual state of not getting anything done, and it is killing me. I mean, thankfully, I've been doing my time on The Sims 4. I actually have a couple of projects that I have completed on The Sims 4. Thank goodness for my partner for letting me use her account ID, which is Aria and Sakura, by the way, if you guys are interested. And it's hard because I want to do YouTube so much, and I want to give so much to the channel, and give so much to everyone in the community, but I can't because everything else in my life is just taking me out and honestly making me feel awful. And I really wish that I had a better excuse other than I've just been, everything has been hitting me at once and I don't know how to deal with it. And I wish that I could have my own, like, the ideal situation would be for me to get my own apartment so I could work YouTube, but like I said, I do give a lot to support my family by my choice, and so the amount of money that I make does not and would not pay for an apartment for me. And so I'm literally just here in my bedroom watching Kindly Keyin, same videos that Baldi's Basics videos that I have watched. And it's been so depressing that I've been in this hole. Like, I haven't been able to do anything. I haven't showered in forever just because I feel like I don't have time. Like, I look horrendous right now. And it was only just the other day that I got to play a little bit of Baldi's Basics, and it was like, it was peaceful for me, but everything else, and not to mention that, like, I made this whole big video of how I was coming back to the TF fandom and how I was going to do You Are a Decepticon Part 2 as my 1K subscriber special. I wanted to do something really big to celebrate this milestone that I had wanted to reach ever since I started back in December. The whole reason that I quit college. And I can't do that. I don't want to go back to college because I do not want to take those stupid basic classes where you have a well-rounded education, because I'm sorry, as much as you tell me geology isn't visually, is visually impaired friendly, I'm not interested in anything real world wise that a college education can give me. And like, I wanted to go into psychology, but no, I have to take these 2 stupid years of, and it would be like 4 years before I even finish my freaking associate's degree, because I want to take it slow. I took 4 classes the last semester I was in college and it killed me. And so I am like a squished pea right now, like the vegetable peas. I'm one of those. If somebody like took a truck and ran over it with all 18 wheels somehow. And I do apologize for having been so absent. I do deeply apologize for not answering someone's request, because my ASMRs could very potentially have the ability to really comfort someone from a very stressful situation. I get comments every day where people tell me that they were comforted by something, and it's so sweet to me. And every time I get a comment like that, it's like, those are the people that I do this for. But like, by the same token, TF is my most popular content on YouTube, and honestly, I don't know that I feel like making TF right now, because just everything is so difficult right now. I don't know that I can make anything right now because of just the way that things are. So I'm stuck and I'm hurting, and I thank you guys for being here and being willing to listen to this garbage rant. If you did, it really honestly does mean the absolute universe to me. The Sims 4 has really helped a lot. I've been playing it a lot, and it gives me a lot of comfort. But by the same token, I want things to be back to the way they were. I want everyone in my family to not be as stressed, because when we're all stressed, it makes us all very impatient. Myself, everyone in our family. And like, I don't know how to fix this cycle. I mean, today, I asked my best friend for the biggest favor, which was a first prize body pillowcase, because I have let go of Starscream finally, and I'm ready to move on, and that's a huge milestone for me as well, because of the circumstances in which I got introduced to the TF fandom. It just wasn't the best place for me to stay. I will always be a Decepticon. It will always be in my heart. But I feel like I'm taking back everything I said in that I am back in the TF fandom video, and I'm sorry to anyone I'm disappointing. I've been disappointing everyone since the day I was born, I feel like, because I've never been able to do anything right, and if I didn't have the gentle and generous love of both in-head partners and my beloved, sweet, gentle partner, Sakura, I probably wouldn't be here right now, because the stresses that this world puts on us, especially here in this country, is crazy. When I went to England for the 3 weeks that I was there, let's you know, dropping the fact that my brother and my great uncle and my grandma, disagreed a little bit. It was one of my favorite trips I've ever taken because everything was just so slow paced. And yes, my grandma wanted us to be fast paced, and yes, she wanted us to see everything. But whenever we did have those breaks, like we actually stayed, my grandmother grew up in the town of Braintree, Essex in England, and we stayed there for a week, and it was my favorite place that we went on the entire trip because I got to see what life was like in England, and I just like, if I had the resources and if I knew that England would take care of someone who's visually impaired, I would live there in a heartbeat. I think even Canada is slower paced than here in the US, where everyone is expecting everything and 180% of a person who honestly feels like she can only give 70 or less, otherwise she's gonna fall apart, because I really don't know what to do with life right now. I'm absolutely just stuck, and I'm sorry to everyone. I'm sorry that I lied to my grandma. I'm sorry that everyone hasn't seen any content from me, but it's just been, like, for example, like, I put out this fan series. It's got 3 1.5 1 hour movies right now called Transformers Alterations, and I loved that series. I loved doing that, and I have so many more episodes planned. There's an entire story of it, but I haven't been able to produce it because by the time that the house is quiet enough for me even to do that, like, I'm tired. And yes, I could very much stay up until 3 a.m. and get videos done, but the problem is that my grandmother needs me to help her at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And so getting only 6 hours of sleep and going to bed that late is not good for a person's body, and I don't want to do that. I mean, if it's what I've got to do, then maybe I should do that, but it's not the best thing. I deeply mourn the loss of the life I had before this, and nothing, like, I gave my grandma the best birthday ever this last May, and we did so much, and then like the week after that was when all of the whole my brother stuff started, and just, if I could have known what I was gonna lose, I wouldn't have taken a single moment for granted whatsoever. And I wish I had done more with YouTube during that time before this whole stuff with my brother started, because I feel like I could have made a lot more progress, but that just isn't the way things went. And I don't know, I'm dying. I'm like absolutely struggling right now, and I so sadly apologize that I'm lacking in video content because of it. But I do have one very good side to this. I recently ordered a cable splitter that is going to allow me to hook my phone to my piano, and I can literally make the piano my phone's microphone so that I can record piano music digitally. It has always been my dream to produce piano music, but the problem is background noise. And I might produce some singer pieces, but most of the time it's most likely just going to be like piano music, and maybe some like other stuff that I can do with because I've got my big piano, which you guys have seen. It's the huge one with all the stuff on it, and I've also got a little well, it's not a little, I think it's like a 61 key electronic. It's 61 or 50? I need to ask Nanny. But it's a really great keyboard, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a Yamaha, and Yamaha is like my favorite music instrument brand ever. As far as workstations though, Korg is great. I love Korgs so much, but the problem is you need an amp with them, and I like having a speaker that you don't have to carry separately. And also our Korg Trinity that we have is really heavy. So, I hope to maybe start making music content, and I'm saying maybe because, like, I don't know what time I'm going to get to do that, because I need my headphones to be able to monitor, and I don't want, like, in the middle of me recording a song, I don't want to hear, hey, I need you for something. And it's just like, whoa, okay, I guess I'm not doing the thing I had planned on doing today. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this, if you did. I'm so sorry that this was so ranty and negative. I apologize for how unprofessional this was, but please always remember to program yourselves to desire your own image, and if speaking your truth is someone else's deception, then may you always be gladly guilty. Till all are one, y'all. Bye.